We're here at Great British Sports Cars, where we are sitting in space frame aluminum car frames that you can put a bunch of horsepower into to get crazy power to weight ratios, and they cost not a whole lot.
Nope.
And they're made right here in the UK with a little bit of 3D printing. So why don't we check out what you guys do here and really see what it takes to build a great British sports car.
Yeah, we'll show you around.
Let's get into it. We're here in the CNC machine shop, which also has manual milling, which is super cool. And the pure definition of they don't make them like they used to. Talk about what's going on in here.
So we make just over 80% of the car on site. So we've taken quite a different model to everyone else. We actually want to design, engineer, build the whole car. So we're currently set up making calipers. We do our own brake calipers, hubs, dampers, sumps, all the tube fabrication on the chassis, which we can have a look at, but loads of CNC turned, milled machine parts.
And you guys have recently brought 3D printing into the facility, and there's a couple of things in here that are printed, and we can't show them to you because there's likely a pretty serious commercial potential to it. But some great opportunity if you are in the CNC business to be able to use 3D printing for fixturing and things like that, soft jaws. Especially when the apprentices are learning, and that way they can break the cheap things and not the expensive ones. But you guys really have a phenomenal setup, and there are tens of thousands of parts of all different sizes, and they're made on these machines. That's it. These guys are making amazing vehicles right here in the UK, but you're doing it in a unique way. You're opting to vertically integrate, where a lot of companies opt to outsource.
Yeah, we're pretty unique in the industry that everyone else will buy, for instance, a caliper in. We've actually looked at it as a fundamental design. How can we optimize it for what we want? And then taking it through that step. What we did do when we first did these, it was before we got into 3D printing. So to actually prove it out, you had to make one of each component. That's fixturing it, program it, do it. The amount of work just to get to something to try in a car. Whereas now we just 3D print it or make sure it fits. You've just half that journey of iterations before you started.
Now, how long does that piece take on average to mill?
We're making a caliper in just shy of 2 hours.
Okay.
But it was one of the first parts we set up on the CAM software that we were learning, and we've not really revisited it. So I think there's possibly about half an hour to come out of it. When you watch it now, some of the tool paths and changes, you're just like, they're painful.
But it works, and it's like, with the new one, we're been there, done that.
It's reliable.
And
that's going from that.
This is you. This is who she tells you not to worry about. You're taking probably a kilo out of this.
Oh, at least, yeah.
See, this is the one problem with CNC, is that there's a ton of waste. This is where 3D printing can be huge when you guys are prototyping.
Yeah, and it's that prototyping phase.
Exactly.
We'd have to allocate a week to make, to set this up and do it and prove it all out.
Easily.
It's a lot of time, whereas you can pretty much get that on a car, check the fitment. You can't use it, but you can check that it's going to work for clearances before you then go into the actual production.
Yeah, you can use machines that are built local, and yeah, you can go overseas if you really want, but it's better to support local where you can. And that brings up today's sponsor.
Construct 3D, makers of the UK's fastest 3D printer and one of the safest 3D printers out there for well below industrial 3D printer prices. Made 100% right in the UK, hand built by an amazing family team that brings some of the highest quality machines out to the general public at an affordable price. Construct 3D makes beautiful 3D printers that will work for your small business, your medium business, or quite frankly, your industrial level business that could even be making super fast cars that are looking to make more custom parts. Using the UK's highest performance 3D printer, you can get your business moving at lightning speed by reducing unnecessary man time, getting it over to a machine that is not only accurate, it is safe, it is reliable, and it is fast. Be able to get your business making more money faster. If you want to check out the awesome machines at Construct 3D, including the Construct 1, the Construct 1 XL, and coming soon, the Construct 2, we'll link to them in that description down below and in that pinned comment. But speaking of high performance, let's get back to seeing some of these awesome cars here at GBS.
But there's more to production than just hog and chips. Hog and chips is fun. So let's see what else it takes to build a great British sports car. Part of production involves making sure that everything is right. And we're here in the clean room where something that caught me completely off guard. They make their own gas shocks. Every freaking piece, down to the actual tubes, everything that's required to make one of these dampeners function is made right here.
Yep, whole thing, even doing the gun drilling on the shaft.
No kidding. And you guys have this this fancy dynamometer testing rig to make sure that every one of these, every single one
damper
of
is
these,
tested.
not every batch, every one of them
Yep.
is tested.
So you've got force against displacement, you can alter the shims, you can get the characteristics.
It just shakes
that you
like
want.
crazy, right?
Yeah, you can alter the frequency of that to suit what you're after.
It's where people normally put a sink. What do you have in your clean room? I got a sink. Oh, what do you have? Oh, I've got a cylinder dynamometer.
And then we also use it for doing sort of durability testing. So on prototypes, new iterations, we can leave it on there for hours. You can get it red hot. You really can prove
I
they're
kind of
going
want
to
to see
stand up
that
to it.
though. That'd be super cool.
Oh, you can melt the O-rings in them. The energy that goes into the damper is crazy.
Cool little 3D printed part, of course. Got some go, no-go jigs that help you understand whether or not the part is bent correctly.
Yeah, if the bend's right, if it's been trimmed to the right length, then that goes to have some ends bonded onto it. That's for an inlet track.
And if it's no good, where's it go?
In the bin.
That's right.
In the bin.
Printed with some metal ends on. Is that just to kind of capture the pipe?
Yeah, what we were doing, we were actually then just linishing them off. If they're slightly over or not been cut exactly square, you can just get it onto a linisher and just take it to it.
That's a great use of 3D printing, especially when you're doing testing, but this is a full-on production part.
Yeah, so every part going through, because once they're bonded together and on, you're scrapping multiple components.
Right.
So it's got to get that one right, the rest are right.
God, a couple of microns worth of error here or there starts to add very quickly.
Yeah.
Especially when it's in these.
Yeah, you end up with 4 of them on an intake, and then all the plate. You've only got to be a degree out.
The whole thing doesn't.
Yeah, it's really it won't go together.
For all the geeks out there, look at the calipers. All made in house.
All made in house.
You saw the unanodized part earlier, and
Yeah, design made. There's 250,000 lines of code in that. It is crazy.
are you doing the pistons as well for the calipers?
Yeah, making the pistons, done our own tooling grind for the groove geometry for the seals. So it actually, as you let off the brake, actually pulls them back on its own.
Right.
So you don't get that drag through the corner.
These are not, your we drive it to church on Sunday kind of cars. You can do it if you want, but they're designed to go on a track and have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, most customers on the road though, but we're taking very much that motorsport design principle, but making it for the road.
And they go precisely the speed limit, not a mile an hour.
Won't go any faster than the speed limit.
That's correct. Love to see how there's also continual improvement in the actual testing facility itself. Things like getting a fiber laser to start marking everything. Fiber lasers are cool, and they make the coolest noises.
Yeah.
Have you heard that? Beep?
Yep.
Clean rooms are great, but they feel kind of clean.
Yep.
There's a lot more mess here, isn't there?
Yeah, we've got the full fabrication than the actual cars.
So why don't we go see making frames and putting the actual pieces of the vehicle together to take it from a regular British sports car to a great British sports car.
Yep.
I know this looks a little weird, but there is a rhyme and reason to every single piece. This is the actual jig for building the GT frame. Can we talk about how you guys got to this?
So we started off originally with the standard body that we developed, and then we found there was a market for a slightly larger version, which is 40mm each side, just to give a bit more room for certain people. So we developed the GT, but the core architecture of the cars are identical, so the geometry, all the plumbing, core systems are the same, it's purely there's a bit more room in the body.
And there is quite a bit, even already done on this. We've got the top roll bar, which even with my bad back, is nowhere near as heavy as you would think. Is this all like chromoly tubing?
It's a mix actually on that one, so I think it's mainly ERW, just standard and a bit of CDS.
Sheet metal, plasma cut. You guys use high precision plasma cutting. And then press brakes that are possibly older than you and I combined.
We've got a mix of some very old machines and some very cutting edge modern stuff. We want to make it British, we want to make it in-house. We don't want to rely on China or other countries to do it. It's made here.
Can you make it? Well, I guess you can. You can make it with the steering wheel on the left side.
Yeah, so the whole car from day one was designed to be fully symmetrical. So left-hand drive, right-hand drive, and then the US market, we've got 30 plus cars now out in the States.
It is really cool to see manufacturing done in this way and to see these space frames come together with just all this that is done for a purpose. These have been here for a minute, right? These jigs.
Yeah, we've made over 1,000 chassis out of these.
If you were utilizing 3D printing earlier, how much of this would have ended up being 3D printed parts as well?
Some, I think. It gives you that flexibility to prototype quick and do go, no-go gauges.
Yep.
We're going to do some press tooling, so on some of the alley panels where the wishbones come out, rather than just being a cut hole, we want to do nice swathed holes, so make the tooling out of plastic.
Try it out first before you waste that expensive machine time. The next step is once the frame is done, we start to go to the assembly room. Let's go take a look at the new vehicle assembly where we actually have a vehicle in there that is almost ready to get put in a crate, shipped over to the United States.
Yep.
Let's go take a look. In the new factory built facility where customer cars are getting finalized to go out the door, we've got some amazing pieces, including one that's going over to the States.
Yes, this is going near New York to a customer that's into his motorbikes, got a bike dealership out there. Gone with the Sunoco old race colours.
I tried to convince them that they should ship it into the port of Tampa and that I can go and do the final delivery, but apparently nobody wants to do that except me. You also do a bit of collecting yourself. I see a nice Unimog chassis sitting over here, and you guys don't just make really awesome
No, we
sports
get
cars.
involved in a few random projects. That's a bit of a personal project.
None of us know about getting involved in random projects, right? Well, what's your favorite or least favorite random project? Let us know in those comments. And we have quite a few customer cars in kind of different states of being done, all the way from a raw chassis back here to one of the 07s back there as well. What is this model?
So this is the full component kit or build. The idea with that, you get everything to build the car. So it comes fully panelled like this. You get all the corners, the hubs, interior, so it's the whole package. It's just add fuel and your time to build it.
Even motor and transmission?
Yep, motor and transmission, brand new crate, 2.5 Duratec, 200 horsepower, all the throttle bodies.
So this vehicle's not just a roller. You're doing engine, trans, everything on it, including a full crate motor.
Yeah, so when you go with the full component kit, you get everything in the kit. So it's brand new, 2.5 Duratec, with the throttle bodies, the exhaust. It's 200 horsepower, 200 pound-foot of torque, dead fast, dead drivable, but loads of scope for tuning.
But see, I'm told that there's no replacement for displacement, and 200 horsepower is nothing. But see, most of those vehicles weigh like 5 tons.
Yeah, we're like 1,100 pounds.
Wait, with the motor?
Yep.
The motor's like 400 of that.
Yeah, we're not a lot.
That's a pretty serious power to weight ratio.
Yeah.
And unlike a lot of the kind of tube style vehicles or space frame style vehicles, you're not tossing the motor in the back. This isn't like an aerial atom.
The atom is fast on an entirely new level. It's so quick, it can destroy your entire face.
It's in the front.
Yeah, but the engine's quite a way back in the chassis compared to most 7s. We're about 6 inches further back, so it is a dead 50-50 weight distribution. Makes a huge difference. All the alley panels are actually bonded on, so it's a full stress skin of the chassis.
Nice.
So the rigidity is crazy.
So it's Mazda Miata performance at half the weight.
Yeah, and some.
This is dangerous. You're really selling me on this, and that's not what this is supposed to be about. Part of what GBS is looking to do here is utilize 3D printing more in their production atmosphere to make more of the vehicle right here in their facility. What would you guys want to see, or where do you think 3D printing could be valuable? Because even down to the sheet metal bending, welding, frame building, all of this is done in-house. So you gotta think outside the box. Let us know in those comments. Let's make our way up and see 300 horsepower electric, right?
Yep.
Let's go check that one out. Up here in, I don't know, I'm calling it Skunk Works at this point.
Yeah, we do actually.
Yeah,
So,
this is definitely, it is the Skunk Works Mezzanine, if you will. We've got the electric prototype with this massive battery, over 50 kilowatt hours worth of power, and a 300 horsepower electric motor in the back. There's a lot to see here. Talk to us about this thing.
yeah, so there's quite a lot going on. We wanted to keep the car looking like the standard IC, so packaging wise from the outside, you can't really tell it apart other than a charging point on the back. We've got a 56 kilowatt hour battery pack using the Tesla small Model S rear drive unit, which packages perfectly in the back. You've still got boot space, cooling, inverter, everything's all nicely packaged in that.
Just like that you also still have trunk space.
Trunk space, yes. Yeah, boot trunk.
This thing would be really cool to see around a track. Just dead quiet, right?
Yeah, weirdly quiet.
Ridiculously sized power cables, cable management, and ultimately it is effectively the same vehicle, right? The shell is more or less the same.
Basic chassis is the same. The rear end's modified quite a lot to take the motor.
Right.
The wishbones are slightly different on the upper. Front suspension, that's exactly the same. Slight difference in the what was the engine bay to allow for the battery in there. And then all the power electronics down the centre, so we've got a 6 kilowatt charger, all your relays and so on.
There's also a lot of 3D printed parts on this vehicle that I'm told you guys are actually looking to move into production utilizing 3D printing. And this is kind of the test to see if it's possible.
Yeah, all the bespoke cable ties and everything. Yeah, we've got varying different thicknesses of cable throughout, different insulation on the cable. So we can make them bespoke to the fraction of a mil. Do we want a centre fix and do we want it a flush fitting onto a bulkhead? These ones here actually clip onto the tube. So they're actually a snap fit to hold it. There's just loads of different ones just to fit that exact space that we want.
Now, how much of a pain in the keister would that have been to add that on some sort of machining operation?
You'd have just done one generic one. Yeah. Put some tape round.
Yep. That's not as cool.
No.
And the taillights are also fully 3D printed mounted, right?
Yeah, that's our own. So there's quite strict rules in the UK about the angles and positionings for your lights. And then we're onto a curvature of the wing. So we've actually done a proper housing that it mounts in. It's got all the radiuses, angles and so on that we need.
I love seeing you guys kind of blend that traditional manufacturing and additive manufacturing together where it makes the most sense for both.
Yeah, I think we're quite unique because we're doing the whole thing. So we're kind of the end user doing what we want, but we're also the manufacturer right from the raw material.
Right.
We can actually tailor the design to suit the different manufacturing techniques. And the more bits we're doing in the 3D now, if you can imagine it, you can make it.
It is really cool to see it, and I'm still wondering how this thing got up here. I guess you guys must.
Yeah, we've got a big forklift and
Yeah.
a platform.
Just a random Tesla motor in the background. It's just chilling. No big deal.
Yeah, that's going in that chassis there. That's a customer build we're going to be doing.
I love that you guys are really kind of pushing that boundary. I don't think there's anybody else doing this. Like off the top of my head, I can't.
No.
Outside of like the dudes in their garage, rich rebuilds, there's pretty much nobody doing it.
No, I think we're the only sort of manufacturer in this space that's actually doing it on a viable level that someone can actually do. So we want to actually offer this as a package that if you want to build one at home, all the engineering work and the chassis and installation is there, and you can develop your own battery systems and power electronics depending on what you want to do.
We do have some finished vehicles and one very special vehicle in progress downstairs right below us. So let's go check out some ready to go cars. Down here in the workshop, you can actually see that these vehicles are so light that a Florida man only needs less than one hand to move this vehicle. It doesn't take very much to stop it either. This is a ready to go vehicle, done. In fact, it's been out on the road a little bit today. And
yes, this is our demonstrator.
the weather's been beautiful here.
It never rains in the UK.
Never rains in the UK. But there's a lot of awesome cars in here too, including an Ultima GT. I still forget the name of the vehicle up there. That thing is super cool. Both of those have billionaire doors.
Not like this! Not like this!
We've got another test vehicle here. They sell used cars, by the way, so if you're interested in getting one, you can reach out to them.
Yep.
What year is this?
Probably 10 years old now.
Okay. Currently priced at £14,500. Vehicles in various other states of repair, upgrade, maintenance, and a random Lotus.
It's not actually a Lotus, but
Lotus
it's sort
thing.
of very inspired. Mid-engined, so we've put that through the IVA test, which is the UK test you've got to do to get on the road.
And then this is not a GBS. What the heck is this?
So it's a 1991 Lotus Formula 1 car.
And what's in the back of this thing?
So it's a V12 Lamborghini.
I would ask how much it weighs, but I know it's pretty much nothing but the motor.
I think it's about 450 kilos.
450 kilos and it has a V12 Lamborghini
Yeah, I think it was
motor?
in period, it was around about 750 horsepower.
Carbon ceramic brakes, carbon fiber everywhere, single person tub designed to fit one person.
Carbon
and
tub.
One person only.
There's 4 3/8 bolts that hold the engine to the tub and tyres that big. If you pick that up, you'd be amazed how heavy it is.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's heavy, but not as heavy as you'd think.
No,
Are those carbon fiber wheels too?
Magnesium.
Oh, that's way more dangerous. This is Formula One from the 90s. I've never touched a Formula One car. You guys are doing the maintenance on this.
Yes, we got involved in this project. We reverse engineered a few parts on the engine, and then we got asked by the customer, do we fancy doing a restoration on the whole car? So the whole thing's been apart, non-destructive testing with the X-ray and dye penetration and so on. We were on the final rebuild. The engine's all been rebuilt, changed some of the electronics, brought it up to sort of modern spec with some of the safety cut-offs. You know, it's as safe as you can be. The bag tank's been out. It's something like, is it 150 litres of fuel? The tank is literally that big. It is ridiculous.
I'm sure it is
Yeah.
the most fuel-efficient motor anyone has ever designed.
Yeah, and run for 2 hours.
Yeah, on 150 liters. Jeez. That's a lot of fuel. And right below me is the starter. It's so heavy, I cannot safely pick it up. And you have to like fish it into the things they did back in the 90s, man.
Yeah.
To save weight. It's
Yeah.
just cool.
There's this tiny little shaft coming out the gearbox that you've got to hook it on, hold it, and the torque from it, and then you've got to take it off once the engine starts while it's spinning without breaking anything.
Not a single way I can see that ever going wrong.
Yeah. Oh, and the exhauster shooting flames out onto your legs as you're doing it.
As is tradition.
Yep.
You guys have some amazing vehicles here at GBS. Where can people find more information about you?
So we've got our own YouTube channel, we've got some on there. Go on the website, drop us an email, give us a call. We've got Paul out in America, in California. Speak to him.
You guys are using your space, you're using everything that you have so incredibly well. And getting a car to the United States is a big enough challenge. Just ask Construct 3D about their entire journey of getting a 3D printer to the United States. There's some just amazing things here and a lot of cool things that we just cannot show you guys. But when they do come out and they're public, we'll have you on too.
Yep,
and
some
we can talk
aerospace
about
stuff we're doing.
literally
Yeah.
out of space. Beautiful collection here, seriously. Absolutely love it here at GBS. If you are in the area, come on by, schedule a tour. You guys gotta come see the vehicles and used cars. 14.5. This is dangerous. This is really, I'm just looking at the number. Guys, let us know again in the comments all about the vehicles here. If there's anything you want to see more on, of course, check out GBS on YouTube. Links in that description down below. And hey, while you're down there, leave a like and get subscribed. Of course, check out Construct 3D, the sponsors of this video. That is all we have for you all today. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one. Rub-a-dub-dub, 2 men in a tub. We're here at Great British Sports Cars.